2 minutes to go, Jam. Oh, this is unbelievable from Inoue. Third time he's gone down.
For 1.5 years now, the relentless Japanese for bantamweight division. He has faced both tough veterans and legitimate champions along the way, but eventually each one of them was put to sleep. So, who has the courage to challenge the monster this time?
He looks for a right hand. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And Brad McCarthy said...
The young Australian Sam Goodman has been climbing up the rankings in the super bantamweight division for several years now and has recently become the main contender in 2 major organizations. Currently, his winning streak is 19, but can he shock the world and improve his record to 20-0? In one of his recent interviews, Naoya stated that he would remain in the super bantamweight division until he has a fight with Junto Nakatani. The super fight between these 2 elite Japanese knockout artists has been discussed in the media for a while now and might happen in 2025. However, until then, Inoue must defend his titles. Despite the monster's frequent performances, there are still plenty of contenders in the division. However, one of them has earned his shot more than others. The undefeated Australian technician Sam Goodman has worked his way to the top with blood and sweat, and now he is ready to do anything to dethrone the king. Friends, in today's video, we begin the countdown to the fight between Naoya Inoue and Sam Goodman. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go! Traditionally, we'll start the countdown with interesting biographical and statistical facts about the boxers. As for Inoue, you all know his story well, so I'll keep it brief. Naoya was born in 1993 near Tokyo in the family of boxing enthusiast Shingo Inoue. From a young age, the boy, along with his brother, went through intense training and got in shape to participate in boxing competitions. The amateur career of the monster was long and bright, but he failed to achieve worldwide recognition. After failing to qualify for the 2012 Olympics, Inoue decided to quit amateur sports and turn professional, where he found his place. Already in his 6th professional fight, the Japanese fought for the WBC title and knocked out the reigning champion Adrian Hernandez. Soon, Naoya moved up in weight and dominantly claimed another title from top Argentine Omar Narvaez.
Abiertos, buscando el hígado con la izquierda.
Over the next few years, the Japanese defended his titles, and in 2018 he moved to the bantamweight division and participated in the 2nd season of WBSS. Before we start, analysts considered the Japanese the main favorite of the entire tournament, and they were right. Naoya won the first 2 fights with quick knockouts and easily reached the final, where he barely defeated former champion Nonito Donaire. In the next year and a half, the Japanese had 4 fights, knocked out every opponent, and became the undisputed champion of the weight class. Realizing that his mission here was complete, Naoya set out to conquer the super bantamweight division. Now, let's talk about his opponent, Sam Goodman.
He's against the ropes again. Will he get through this round? I don't think so. Goodman, he stopped it.
Unlike the formidable Japanese fighter, the guy is completely unknown to the general public, but this is not surprising. Throughout his career, Sam has competed in his native Australia, and in December, he will leave his homeland for the first time to perform in front of a Japanese audience. Sam began his boxing path at the age of 10, following his father's advice, who also devoted his life to sports. Before putting on gloves, the boy was involved in his favorite national sport, rugby, but due to a wrist injury, he decided to switch activities and thus ended up in a local gym. Goodman's amateur career began when he was only 12 and lasted for the next 10 years, during which he repeatedly won national titles and Oceania championships. In 2018, Sam began performing professionally alongside his amateur career. For several years, the guy was torn between the two paths of his career, unable to succeed in either. But from 2021, things began to improve. Goodman finally quit amateurs and focused on professionals. Within a short period, he claimed 3 minor titles, racked up a series of confident defenses, and started receiving top-level opponents. For instance, his recent victim was the title challenger TJ Doheny. Sam defeated him so easily that by the end of the fight, one was feeling genuinely sorry for the Irishman. Let's probably continue with Goodman. After a supremely confident victory over top-tier Doheny, Sam received an excellent opportunity to showcase his skills to the whole world. In early 2023, it was announced that his opponent would be the highly promising and increasingly popular American Raiz Aleem.
Against Pacias back in January. Like I said, Aleem is looking to make a statement.
Early in his career, Raiz, like Sam, fought inconsistently but focused on his career in recent years and delivered a series of excellent performances. Going into the fight with Sam, the Michigan native was on a 20-win streak and was considered the favorite.
I know what I bring to the table, I know who I am. Those of you who don't know who Raiz Aleem is, I encourage you to Google me, follow me on Instagram at Raiz Aleem Boxing, just to see what kind of beast you guys allow into Australia. I'm ready for this fight. I know what I'm about, I know what I can do.
The fight was evenly matched. Goodman tried to move more and outwork his opponent in terms of volume, focusing on his well-trained jab.
For a moment, but thinks better of it.
Meanwhile, Aleem attacked with single shots or short combinations, and his punches looked much stronger.
He's going to it because he's not comfortable. Sam is not around Raiz of Sam, but you haven't seen a lot of big punches landed. This fight.
Nonetheless, the Australian was far more active, more often breaking Aleem's rhythm, dodging and pressuring him. And after the full 12 rounds, he claimed a well-deserved victory, albeit only by decision.
Oh man, I thought it was crazy, I thought I won 8 rounds to 4, probably, so I thought last 6 rounds, how do you give him a round out of that, like I was going forward, I was hurting him, so it was, yeah, I was shocked, so I couldn't believe it.
While Sam was dealing with Raiz, Naoya was fully preparing for his transition and title fight against Stephen Fulton. At that moment, Cool Boy Steve was considered potentially the most challenging opponent in the Japanese fighter's career. And there were justifiable reasons for this. The tall, long-armed Fulton excelled as a counterpuncher, possessed a super jab, and an impenetrable Philly shell defense. True, his punches lacked devastating power, but he could easily neutralize opponents and win by decision, as he had done with many top fighters. Initially, the fight was scheduled for the end of March, but in the middle of the camp, Naoya suffered a serious injury and the meeting had to be postponed to July.
I feel like I'm the better guy overall, all around. That's just me. I don't care what the fans think, what casuals think, or what box people think about it. When I'm looking at myself and what I have to offer and what he has to offer, I feel like I'm more of an all-around fighter.
Everyone expected to see a competitive fight between two evenly matched boxers, but harsh reality set things straight. Naoya easily caught up with and broke down Fulton throughout the fight, and in the 8th round, he simply crushed him with a series of punches against the ropes. During the post-fight interview, another super bantamweight champion, Marlon Tapales, entered the ring. Why? obviously to call Inoue out.
I want to fight Naoya Inoue because I want to prove myself that I'm a champion.
The Japanese fighter's incredible performance shocked the entire boxing world. Even Sam didn't stand aside and commented on his colleague's victory, also promising to meet the winner of the unification fight.
Unification fight now apparently with Tapales, and look, if my shot gets called for the winner of that fight, look, I'll be taking it with both hands. So, people like, Jeff Horn, he upset Pacquiao, Cambosis, he upset Teofimo. So, us Australians, mate, we're the underdogs, but, we're good at pulling off those upsets, so...
Inoue stormed to the top of the division and practically on the same night received a chance to fight for the status of undisputed champion for the second time, but we will talk about this a little later. What was Sam doing at this time? After a grueling match with Reyes, the Australian quickly returned to training and signed a new fight contract for October. As before, Goodman faced another challenging test. His opponent was the young but experienced Miguel Flores, who had repeatedly encountered the best boxers of the division. At one time, Flores shared the ring with champion Abner Mares and also fought Leo Santa Cruz. However, both fights ended poorly for him. Flores planned to work from the center of the ring and punish Goodman's body with a powerful left hook, but Sam wasn't having it. From the first round, the Australian unloaded a flurry of punishing shots at mid and close range on his opponent.
Tries to find him, covers up to the body.
A lot of fighters, there's one body shot.
Roots in there with his left hands.
Good boy.
Good shot.
Surprisingly, the prospect wasn't afraid to stand face to face with this slugger and took his best punches, retaliating with his own. By the 8th round, Sam's advantage was overwhelming and he scored a knockdown. However, finishing the tough Miguel proved very different.
He fires back with an uppercut, Flores. Let's see if Goodman can get...
Beautiful body shot.
And the Australian won a lopsided decision on the judges' scorecards.
My full focus has been on Miguel Flores for this one, and we get through this, we can start looking at the guys like Inoue and Tapales and looking at those sort of challenges. But look, it's a very hard ask for anyone, but if there's someone that's going to do it, it's going to be me.
Within just 7 months, Sam claimed victories over 3 ranked opponents and could have allowed himself to rest until 2024, but instead he decided to fight again at the end of the year. A decent night of boxing was planned for December 15 in Australia, and Goodman, as the local star, became one of the main attractions of the event. The opponent of the rapidly rising prospect was the undefeated Chinese athlete Zhang Liu with a record of 19-0. Throughout his career, Liu had only fought at home, so the trip to Australia was expected to be a tough test for him. Liu fought in a southpaw stance, which initially caused Sam some issues, but he gradually adapted. Using his superior ring IQ, Goodman began to feint and provoke his opponent into making mistakes, which he skillfully exploited.
Yeah, you know what I like about seeing this first round, and even in this round,
doesn't look to the body much so far. There's a good body shot. Really strong right hand to the body from Goodman. He's having...
Sam's straight shots to the body landed especially well, as did his jabs, and Liu ate so many of them that it would be enough for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, breaking down the fighter from the Middle Kingdom was not achieved, and the victory went to the Australian by unanimous decision.
It was very, very awkward. It was hard to pin down, but look, we got it done, and yeah, look, 4 fights this year, 4 wins. I'm the most active fighter in Australia, and I'm stacking those wins. So look, against world level opposition, he was hard.
Returning to Inoue and his new opponent Marlon Tapales, at the time of their fight's announcement, many fans were unfamiliar with the Filipino, although in fact he was one of the weight class's strongest representatives. Over recent years, Marlon had achieved several key victories and had long been at the top, but he was rarely mentioned in the context of the title race due to his low media profile. Finally, in early 2023, Marlon was given the chance to fight the young champion from Uzbekistan, Murjon Akhmadaliev. The odds were heavily against the veteran, with analysts assessing his chances at +400, but Tapales put on an outstanding performance and won by split decision. Immediately after this, the team of the newly crowned champion called out the winner of the Inoue Fulton fight.
I believe he may take a trip for a vacation to Japan to maybe bring the family to Tokyo Disneyland and just happen to be there July 25 to be ringside to watch Inoue Fulton.
All right, is that the winner? You want to fight the winner?
Yeah, of course. That's a big dream. That's a dream, you know.
As promised, Tapales traveled to Japan and personally called Naoya out. About a month later, it became known that the fight for the undisputed champion title was set for December 26. Naoya got the chance to become the second undisputed champion in history in the 4-belt era, while Tapales was aiming to achieve yet another historic upset. Inoue conducted a brief recon and, towards the end of the second minute, moved forward. With each round, his right-hand punches grew stronger, but Marlon remained undeterred and continued to apply pressure. Nevertheless, the Japanese found his distance, and in the 10th round, he secured a TKO.
And I am so relieved at the moment because I got victorious against such a tough, strong, very spirited opponent like Marlon Tapales. Thank you so much for fighting me, and I am so happy that I got victorious by TKO such a decisive manner.
In just 1 year of performances and 2 fights, Naoya Inoue became the undisputed champion for the second time in his boxing prowess. The monster was officially recognized as Boxer of the Year.
2023 was a year of great challenges for me. I moved up to super bantamweight and immediately fought the unified champion, Stephen Fulton. And then in December, I fought Marlon Tapales, who had the other 2 titles. Neither one of these fights was easy for me, but I am pleased that the results were all well received by everyone.
Just like last year, in 2024, Sam wasn't planning to spend much time on the sidelines, so he was getting ready to step back into the ring as early as March. This time, the promoters decided not to throw another tough challenge at him and instead matched Goodman with his compatriot, Mark Schliebs. The remarkable Australian, with a record of 13-2, occasionally produced impressive knockouts but could hardly boast outstanding skills. It seemed that the unfortunate man was simply brought in as cannon fodder for the rising star. At the pre-fight stare-down, there was a slight altercation between the athletes. Later, we found out what the guys really thought of each other.
I get it, any man can be beat on their day, but look, I think I'm levels above Mark. I know I'm levels above Mark, and look, I'm very, very confident that I've got more than enough to get rid of this guy in front of me. But
look, the emotions are high. Obviously, he had a lot of confidence man in his hometown. You know, again, like you said, next Wednesday we have to settle it, and I can't wait to chin him.
Goodman wasted no time, swiftly closing in, began attacking his opponent with stiff straights.
They're good punches. Schliebs got through, Gus. Goodman came back. Now he comes.
Unlike most of his fights, this time Sam was indeed determined to score a finish, and every punch was aimed at inflicting maximum damage on Mark. Schliebs absorbed substantial damage but wasn't in a hurry to retaliate. And by the 4th round, the referee's patience ran out. He stopped the fight.
He's against the ropes again. Will he get through this round? I don't think so.
At the post-fight press conference, Goodman clearly outlined his immediate plans.
Well titles, you know. I've been mandatory for almost a year now, and I think I deserve my shot, and that's what we've been pushing for, wherever it is, you know, I think I'm ready.
In terms of rankings, Sam was right. He had indeed held the position of top contender for months. However, his media profile left much to be desired, and Naoya preferred the equally dangerous but much more famous Luis Neri. The top-level Mexican fighter nicknamed Pantera was a champion in 2 weight classes and was considered the hardest puncher in the super bantamweight division before Naoya arrived, as evidenced by his impressive 77 knockout rate. Worldwide fame came to Neri in 2018 when he scored 2 sensational knockout victories against the undefeated Japanese star Shinsuke Yamanaka in front of millions of Japanese fans. Since then, the people of the land of the rising sun have disliked Luis and dreamed of someone returning him the favor.
I see the fight going by knockout. He's a fighter who goes in front of you, and he's a brave fighter, and I do the same thing, so it will be a knockout.
The crucial fight was set for May, and the venue chosen was Tokyo Dome, a symbolic location. What's notable about it? The greatest upset in boxing history took place within its very walls in 1990 when Buster Douglas knocked out undisputed champion Mike Tyson. Since then, no boxing night had been held in Tokyo Dome, but they made an exception for Naoya. Would history repeat itself, or would the king remain on his throne? In the first round, Luis knocked Naoya down for the first time in his career. Making the whole arena nervous. Despite the shake-up, by the second round, the monster was back on track, knocking down his opponent multiple times before finishing him off in the 6th round. Naoya was incredibly happy with the outcome of the fight.
How did you like the big surprise happen in the first round? I'm so happy that I got knocked down. Actually, that happening gave me a good motivation.
He also stated that he planned to return in September and would fight the top contender, specifically Sam. Goodman was in the arena that evening and, during the post-fight interview, stepped into the ring to make a bold call-out.
Look, I've been mandatory for over a year. Either give up the belts or fight me. Let's get it on.
As Naoya said, the fight with the Australian contender was set for September, and at first glance, all parties were in agreement. However, Sam's team unexpectedly refused to sign the contract, opting to postpone the long-awaited clash with Inoue to a later date and instead fight the Thai Tachan Lonathan. The reasoning behind this decision remains unclear, but it's likely that Sam wanted more time for quality preparation against the strongest fighter in the division. As for his new opponent, Rockman had only been fighting professionally for 6 years, but had already claimed a secondary WBC belt and had 25 fights without a loss. Unfortunately, most of his victories were against opponents with unimpressive records like 14-8, which cast significant doubts on the Thai's level.
Nasty side to me, and I'm going to show it on Wednesday, so I think I'll pull the pressure on, and I'm really looking to hurt him. So that's just where my head's at the moment. He's not coming here into my hometown and taking this away from me. Like everything I've done throughout my life has led me to this moment, and I take great privilege being here and great pride, bringing a big show here, and he's not beating me at home, no way.
Goodman held his distance well with an extended arm and footwork, but his opponent was persistent and occasionally landed decent punches. However, as the fight progressed, Sam became increasingly successful. By the 4th round, he stunned Rockman with a series of heavy punches and more often avoided his clumsy counterattacks.
Counters too is Goodman. And the body. These are good shots.
By the end, Sam was clearly dominating, but he still continued to move forward, trading punches with the iron-willed Thai. The judge's verdict was expected. Goodman won by a unanimous decision.
I've got confidence every time I get in that ring, and there's not much I do better than boxing, and there's nothing I do better than boxing. I'll rephrase that. So I've got confidence going into any fight against any man in my weight class. So if I take on the likes of Inoue, I'll go into that fight full of confidence, and that's what I plan to do.
Despite a very weird withdrawal of an opponent, Naoya decided not to alter his plans and remained the headliner of the event on September 3rd. A new contender for the undisputed champion title was found quickly, former IBF champion TJ Doheny.
A couple more big uppercut from Daini.
Moving forward, right hand gets through, and again it's a staggered step. That left hand looked low to me.
The experienced Irishman, proudly nicknamed The Power, was on a 3-knockout streak but hadn't expected a title shot anytime soon. Surprisingly, Doheny started well, and for a time it seemed like he was in control of the fight. However, once the Japanese turned up the heat, the Irishman began to fall apart. In the 7th round, after another heavy blow, the challenger unexpectedly took a knee and couldn't continue due to a back injury.
Yes, I am still in progress, and today's match especially, I want to celebrate how TJ Doheny brought the fight into this ring and his career. So I would like to thank him, and this is, yes, you can expect me more in the future.
Exactly 1 month later, the news came out that the teams of Naoya and Sam had managed to reach an agreement, and the fight for the undisputed title would take place on December 24 in Japan. After so many months of anticipation and fierce battles, the top contender finally received his chance to claim all 4 belts, but to do so, he will have to surpass himself and defeat someone who has never lost.
I just think there's ways for me to win that fight, and you know how I fight. I put on the pressure, I apply the pressure, and look, I've got to be at my best and do it very, very smartly. He's very quick, and he's got some real good counters, and he does have devastating power. So you've got to be mindful of that and do it smartly. But there's definitely ways and things I think I can implement to win that fight.
Now, with more than a month remaining until the Christmas showdown, fans around the world are already eagerly anticipating another performance from the monster. Can he impose his style and knock out Goodman in the later rounds? Or will the challenger deliver the performance of his life and stop the Japanese Terminator? What do you think about this? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments.